have a strong fear of not being practical, that I'll lose that ability to function.
Boy, don't look at me as a model.
That's true. Well, I mean, I was very pulled into spirituality from like a young age, and there was a lot of difficult things that happened in the beginning, that I sort of took a vow to never not be practical, and never not be. There were things that I thought were done to me, but also just I was young, and there was just a clash between kind of getting through your teenage years and your 20s and releasing all thoughts that I experienced really strongly, and found it really debilitating. So I only kind of reopened up to this search when I met Amma, because she was so practical that was kind of how I saw her.
It, right. Okay, let me just offer you something now, and then we can move into other parts.
Yeah.
First of all, the nature of this journey is that it will always carry you into your greatest fears. So the belief is that the trauma that happened when you started really turning towards this in a very big way in your teens and early 20s, that was the first time that occurred. The particulars may be the first time, but the feeling inside, the feeling of devastation, that was not the first time. That feeling arose. Is there a recognition of that part of it? If you forget the story that happened at that time and just the feeling of vulnerability and being lost, and that was not something new. It was not. So the nature of this dreamscape for every player with their particulars is that these fundamental dynamics out of which the shell was built will recreate themselves. Now, when one is not really, really ripe, when they feel that recreation happening, there is a retreat. There is pulling away from it, because everything that is conditioned says, don't go there. But the thing of it is that every single thing is safe, and all there is God. And you cannot really know it all the way unless you are ready to dive all the way into what the ego, which is the shell that creates the personality, which is driven around not going back in there, anything other than that. All the busyness, all of the organization, all of that, it is an attempt not to go in there. When you are ready, then the environment coalesces in a way, because it is all your dream, to support that. So there has been a gradual evolution in the dream process. There was a sense of being totally lost. Then there was the meeting in the dream of a great sage, which reopened something, which readied something. But the nature of that particular one is spreading light to the masses. But what was needed in your dream construct, in its perfect wisdom, was particular guidance navigating you through what you are terrified of. And thus it comes into manifest expression. When there is readiness, there is a recognition that everything is in place. It does not mean that the fear falls away, but there is a recognition everything is in place. Most who fall into spiritual circles to get away from human suffering.
Right.
Yes, and something wonderful is offered. There is space that is offered in that from the suffering. If one is really vigilant, one can break free of the oscillations of mind and be freed from that relationship and experience equanimity. But the love, the passion, the light of God that cannot be explained, like what Amma carries, this is not possible without being totally carried. And when one is carried, they are carried into everything the mind has feared. And when you are ready, the environment conforms in a way that becomes very well recognized that it is set up just for this work.
So at this point, I can see when I'm in a trance. I can't stop it that easily. I do say meditation in the morning, doesn't help me. Maybe a little bit.
When you are in a trance, what is going on when you are in a trance?
I get irritated a lot. I'm more reactive than I would like to be. All my defenses come up towards all kinds of characters and
Yes. Yes.
And it's not pleasant.
Right.
My mind races, my body gets really messed up, my heart races.
Yes, okay.
It's not fun. And then over the years it's getting more clear when I'm in that state, because I can't sleep, so I know that I can't stay there. But I guess I'd want to be able to have a better, coming here pretty quickly, I felt like I was just moving out of it. Like it was just like a day of sitting here and I was like, okay, like it was a restart. I'd like to be able to access that.
Yes.
More often.
Yes, I will tell you. The opportunity lies in accessing what is happening, not what is not happening. When that is going on, there is the experience of being identified as the character. When the identification with the character falls away, it is clear there really is no separate one. Could you say that is true in your experience? When there is resting in it, there is the seeing that there really is no thinker or doer.
Right.
Yes. Now, either that is false or the other is false. There is either no character or there is a character. The point being, in the recognition of no character, there is the awareness that when the experience of the character arises, it arises because the attention has been pulled from the feeling of yourself, your very nature, and then there arises an experience that feels like you are the thinker and you are the doer, but it is a manifestation that only occurs when you are pulled away from yourself. So are you following me so far?
Sorry. Trying to.
Okay.
I speak English really well, but maybe why not?
Say it again. The feeling of your existence is what is constant. When you are in touch with that and the fingers are moving, the body is breathing, the head shakes, the mouth gives like a half smile. It is so clear that there is no one doing that. It's just happening. There is no sense of doership. Shaking the head, the shoulders rise and fall a little bit, the smile returns, the eyes look slightly to the left and back. It is so clear when you are in touch with yourself. This hand to the forehead, looking to the stanga, covering the eyes, But the point, the point is that when you are present and the movements are happening, there is no illusion that someone is doing it. It's just happening. Okay? Okay. The only time there is the experience that there is someone doing it is when you have lost touch with being present. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So in the seeing through, what is recognized, potentially recognized, is there really is no separate one. It just feels like there is when there has been a falling away from yourself.
Understand.
Okay. Which means that whatever is happening is under the guise of the one source. It is under the guidance of God, everything. The feeling lost, the feeling found, the feeling open, the feeling closed. Everything. Now it is true that the play is always reorienting itself in a kinder way the more the work is done, just like if you work on yourself and you have recurrent dreams, a year down the road the dreams will change. In the midst of the dream there is nothing that can be done, it's a dream. But you work on yourself and the dream changes. This dream is the same. But the particulars that are happening moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day, there really is no one there, just like in a dream. There is the character in the dream that is you, but there's really no character there. It's a reflection of you. Every time you feel yourself, you realize there is no character there. Then all of the characters appear within the feeling of your being, and it is all recognized to be very dreamlike. So, this piece comes up that I want to taste the opening more. But it is all being orchestrated. It's all about receiving everything the same. It is never getting from where I am to where I'm not that is driven by desire and fear. It is about receiving the grace of everything the same. As soon as there is the position of receiving, there is nothing to do. And then there is this relaxation. And then if there is burning, it's holy burning, because there is the receiving of the burning. And the only thing that can burn is separation. The contraction, which is uncomfortable, is the active phase that burns away separation. The expansion is the beauty that is tasted in the aftermath of the burning. They are both necessary.